Hi everyone, we've got another analysis video to do today, and it's the second one that one of my viewers, Sophie, has sent in. And on inspection of this, I've found a few more things that are really interesting, and it links to one of my more controversial clips of the last couple of months. It's where I confronted the police about flashing the lights. Let's have a little look at this clip first. It's the crossroad junction a little touch further that we should be watching, and look at the right hand side and particularly the red car. Ouch. So what's your first thoughts on that clip? The poor motorcyclist has taken obviously the impact on his left leg, and it wouldn't surprise me if that motorcyclist had broken his leg with where it impacted the front of the red car that pulled out in front of him. So I hope nothing was too serious. I'm sure there's going to be injuries with something like that. Doubt very much it's going to be life-threatening, but that's not the point. Let's have a little look at this clip in a little bit more detail now though, because like I said a little bit earlier, there's more to this clip than first caught my eye. So what we're going to start off with is actually the Range Rover on the left hand side of the junction. Did anyone even spot it? And there's something about this Range Rover that maybe was the catalyst to the whole clip. Let me show you. So it's the white Range Rover Evoque to the left that we're going to keep an eye on. What I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom in quite a lot, and I'm going to run the clip very slowly. Just keep an eye on the front light of this white Range Rover. Does it flash? It's pretty inconclusive, but it does look as though the whole light seems to illuminate and fill out just for a moment. And it happens at this point now, just as the final car has passed and just before the red one moves. Another point to note is usually the red car would have to wait for the Range Rover because it's crossing its path, but because the Range Rover changed how the junction effectively was going to work, that's another reason why the red car failed to look properly. They were compelled to go, or they felt as though they were compelled to go. So as you can see, there is a possibility that the Range Rover flashed its lights. I cannot be 100% certain with the resolution of the clip and the angle of the Range Rover, but it does look, because I've gone through frame by frame, it does look as though that whole offside headlamp of the Range Rover does illuminate fully, which could be a reflection of the sun. It's a sunny day today, it could be something like that. It could be the bump in the road that the camera went over just before it seems to sort of like illuminate, but there's a strong possibility for me that it flashed its lights. Now if that's the case, it goes back to my point on how dangerous it is to flash the lights. If it did flash the lights, did the car opposite the red one just take that as I've got to go, and was that a cause of it not seeing the motorbike? More than likely. But there are other things with the red car that I'd just like to point out. First of all, its angle approaching the road is not at 90 degrees, so this is another scenario where it's highly likely that these pillars got in the way of the vision of the motorcyclist. It's hard to exactly tell. It's a possibility that the motorcyclist was hidden behind the parked cars and the red car just maybe saw the flash of the lights and just went. but it is likely that vision is obscured around these things. And is that a possibility because the red car felt compelled to go because of the flash? Again, it's a possibility. Now, there's a lot of surmising going on here. It's impossible to tell for sure, but even if that's not the exact case with this scenario, please understand the dangers of what I'm talking about. So the red car for me is really the main cause of the problem on this incident and this collision. You're emerging onto a main road, you have to make certain that it's clear for you to go, and it's coming through the giveaway lines and it simply doesn't do a good job. But there are faults all round. We've said about the Range Rover potentially flashing its lights. The red cars sort of like blame in this incident is obvious, but what does the motorcycle do? Or what don't they do that they could have done a little bit better? Well, for me, I don't think the motorcyclist changes his speed whatsoever. It's a common thing that I find when people are doing the driving lessons. People just steer the car rather than adjusting their feet and changing the speed of the car. They seem to treat every scenario like a little bit of a dodgem car where they just try and steer to avoid. But even this, the motorcyclist doesn't seem to do much of a job to avoid anything. If I would ever be on a motorbike, although I haven't got one at the moment, I'm a motorbike license holder, if I saw that flash or potential flash from the Range Rover, if I saw any movement from the red car whatsoever, I would be ready in an instant to stop. And this motorcyclist, unfortunately, was a portion of this incident happening as well, because he didn't stop. But what did he do with his steering on the motorbike? Well, very little. Is this a classic case of locking on, as I call it, where he just sees that danger and hopes that it's not going to cause him a problem? Personally, on what I do, teach and learn the drivers, I think that that's the case. I think, again, I'm surmising, but I don't think his experience on a motorbike would be too great. Perhaps he's recently qualified, but he didn't do enough to actually stop the actual collision. So there's blame apportioned to all parties in this collision, and it's a shame. But as you can see, when things go wrong, they can go wrong quite quickly. So you've got to be on your toes, or have your wits about you at all times when you're driving, riding, whatever. A massive thanks again to Sophie for sending these two wonderful clips in. Sophie's other clip, I'm going to put a link to the description. It's the one where the overeager BMW driver gives it the beans on a wet corner and ends up spinning out. If you haven't seen that, check that one out. But please keep on sending these clips in the same way. They're really, really useful to explore different scenarios that aren't going to be given to me on a daily basis. So please do keep sending them in. I actually really enjoy doing these analysis clips as well. So thank you very much for all your support, everyone. Just going back to the police clip, I'm not trying to just say, look, I'm right. Everyone's got their own opinion on it. I get that, and there's no issues with that ever. I'm in a position with this channel that I can challenge certain things. Certain things in life do need to be challenged, but they need to do it in the correct way. I haven't always done things in the correct way. No one's perfect, me included. But the message again, and a strong message, if that Range Rover flashed its lights, that really for me was one of the biggest causes of this accident. If it hadn't have flashed, would the red car felt compelled to go? No, I don't think so. So thanks all for watching, and I hope to see you all soon. take care out there. As we can see, it's a pretty dangerous place.